Good morning. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. We'll personally get to know Baguio City's Chief Executive, here at the forefront. A decorated police general turned public official, Mayor Benjamin Magalong draws strength from his Baguio upbringing and decades of service in law enforcement. From leading high-stakes national investigations to transforming his hometown to a model of good governance, as we discuss the controversies and national issues he confronted, the burning question is, what drives this steadfast leader to keep pushing forward amidst a government saddled with internal problems? From Baguio all the way to the BNC studio, the incumbent and re-elected mayor of Baguio City, Mayor Benjamin Magalong. Good morning, Mayor Benji.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning sa inyong lahat dito sa
Salamat,
studio.
Mayor Benji. We're so happy to finally have you here. And we'll go to my favorite part of the interview. We'll be showing you photos. And because of our limited time, you'll have 30 seconds to explain what they mean to you. So let's start with this picture. St. Louis University in Baguio City. Okay, so you studied elementary until high school and first-year college in St. Louis University. In 30 seconds, can you share with us what was it like as a student in St. Louis University?
Loyalty badge ako dyan St. Louis University. And I remember during my third year, that was actually my transformation. Suddenly, after reading the book of Charlie Brown, I decided na I have to, enhance my integrity. Kaya every time na may examination, I go to the back of the room and then I do my test examination.
Para hindi ka matempt na
Yes.
mangkopya ng iba?
Yes.
And Mayor Benji, meron po ba kayo from your family na dito rin sa St. Louis nag-aral?
Yeah, halos kami lahat magkakapatid. We
Lahat
studied St.
kayo.
Louis
And your
University.
parents also?
No, my parents came from Pangasinan.
Okay.
They both
So
studied in
lumipat sila
Pangasinan.
from Pangasinan to Baguio.
Yes.
Meron po ba kayong sa mga magulang mo na nag-public service din o pumasok din sa pagiging police po?
Wala. Nothing in the uniform service. My dad works sa National Power Corporation. And then my mom, nagtrabaho siya sa City Hall as a clerk.
So interesting.
30 plus years.
Nung nag-decide kayo maging police, natuwa ba sila o nagulat sila?
Hindi sila natuwa kasi papasok ko sa PMA, kinakabahan sila doon dahil sa hising.
Well, speaking of PMA, let's look at the next picture. You graduated magna cum laude in the class of 1982 sa PMA. Can you share with us, bakit nyo na-decide na umalis from St. Louis University kung saan may honor badge kayo at loyalty badge, tapos nag-PMA kayo na kung saan napakahirap? Timer starts now.
Niyaya lang kasi ako nung classmate ko, sabi niya sa akin, pasok tayo sa PMA, mag-marcha-marcha lang tayo doon, may sweldo na tayo doon. But when I entered PMA, doon na nabago yung buhay ko. And then I was elected by my classmates to become a member of the Honor Committee. It's an elite group of cadets that implements the honor code. That cadet does not lie, cheat, steal, nor tolerate those who do. At yun ang nagpa-strengthen further yung aking character.
So bata pa lang po kayo, talagang yung mga values of integrity, honor, na-ingrain na sa inyo.
Yeah, deeply emphasized yan sa amin ng parents ko.
Sino po ang mga famous batchmates nyo from batch 1982 at ang tawag po sa inyo daw ay Sandigan?
Yeah, Sandigan. Marami. Mga naging chief PNP, si General Marquez. Yung ating naging EFP chief, si General Delgado ng Philippine Air Force. Tapos meron din kami sa Navy, si General Milan. So ang dami naming naging prominent na
very
mga classmates.
star-studded. Para sa inyo, considering napakahirap ng training sa PMA, ano yung isang bagay na pinaka-memorable sa inyo sa PMA?
Yung honor code. Yun talagang pinaka-memorable. Kasi mag-e-exam ka ba patapos yung sagot nasa likod. Pwede kang matempt na tumingin pero maraming bumabagsak. Pati yung homework, mag-isa mo sa kwarto mo. Mag-e-exam ka. 20 minutes na exam. You can open your book para tignan mo yung sagot, pero you're not tempted kasi nga deeply ingrained na sa iyo yung honor code system. Eh.
Bakit po sa palagay nyo na with the training in PMA, meron pa rin mga naliligaw ng landas when they reach government or high positions?
It's the environment. It's the environment. No? Kung ang environment talaga talagang it doesn't strengthen your values, your character, then you will be tempted. And sometimes a lot of people, just simply give up and give up their values. And then, lagi nila sinasabi, kailangan maging practical lang. If I cannot beat them, then I might as well join them. Siguro yan ang mga nagkamali yung iba dyan.
Let's look at the next picture. From PMA, nag-join po kayo ng Philippine Constabulary and then it eventually became the Philippine National Police. In 30 seconds, can you share with us, how did the police transform you and paano rin nag-transform itong police as you've seen it over the years? Because you were with the PNP and Philippine Constabulary for a total of 38 years.
Yes. So,
timer starts now.
Okay, alam mo, pinaka-memorable ko dyan na experience dyan is yung value ng humility. So lahat ng mga speeches ko, karamihan, it's all about humility over authority. And I also became the head of the transformation program of the Philippine National Police. So isa rin yan sa mga in-emphasize ko uli about values, about character, about corruption, and most especially humility over authority.
But Mayor Benji, when you say na kayo ang ine-emphasize nyo lagi, humility, marami ng instances in the past years na ang criticism dun sa mga ibang nasa pwesto, including in the current situation when former President Duterte was arrested, isa yun sa mga naging criticism dun sa manner of the arrest. And we had the CIDG Chief General Torre being criticized also as not humble.
Yeah.
Yung opposite siguro pagiging humble. That's a criticism. So, ano yung masasabi nyo with the transformation over the years? Nagbago po ba yung kultura sa police in general, sa PNP?
Well, nandun naman yung transformation program namin. Kaya lang sabi nga nila, power corrupts eh. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Some people just simply do not know how to handle power. And they become become so heavy-handed and they start flexing their muscles. Hindi mo naman kailangan gawin yun kasi nasa pwesto ka na eh. And people really appreciate kung nakasapwesto ka na, may power ka na, pero you remain humble. That's what people really appreciate most about in every person.
Sa mga kakilala mo po na PMA din, nag-graduate, and nag-police din, sino masasabi nyo na hindi po nagbago over the years?
Yan, si General Milan, si Admiral Milan, hindi nagbago yan. Si Jeff Delgado, yung AFP chief, hindi rin nagbago yan. Si Max Caro, yung aming baron, although he did not make it kasi matanda na siya nung nag-graduate kami, pero hindi rin nagbago. Ang dami naming kaklase na talagang maganda, talagang ugali nila hanggang ngayon.
Let's look at the next picture. This is also part of your career. You led the Special Action Force Unit of the Philippine National Police from 1997 to 2001. And you were also the founder of the Seaborne and Sniper units. In 30 seconds, can you tell us how did the Mamasapano incident of 2015 impact you? Considering kayo po yung baby nyo yan, yung Seaborne unit at SAF.
Yeah.
Timer starts now.
One of my best years in the Philippine National Police is when I was assigned with the Special Action Force. At isa siguro pinaka-challenging dyan yung Mamasapano incident. Although I was no longer with the SAF, nandun na ako sa CIDG. At karamihan ng mga naging biktima rito, namatay dito, are actually my students and my men in the Special Action Force. Kaya masakit na masakit sa akin ang nangyari. And pinaka-challenging dyan is, will I have to tell the truth or will I sacrifice my integrity and just simply give up and just, give up to the pressure and whitewash the investigation.
Yeah.
But I have to tell the truth.
Yes, and well, a lot of people don't know that I actually worked with you
Yes,
behind the
oo.
scenes in writing the Mamasapano report. And I remember clearly that your guidelines were just to be very objective in writing the report at to tell the truth as to how it was from the survivors ng SAF that we interviewed. When you mentioned yan, there was so much pressure, did you hear or know that you were in the running to be PNP chief at that time? And did it cross your mind na matakot na ma-implicate po si former President Benigno Aquino III, who was president at that time?
Well, gusto ko lang banggitin bago ko sagutin yung Karen, Give me time. Alam niyo ba na marami siguro hindi nakakaalam na napakalaki ho na naitulong sa amin ni Attorney Karen, especially in writing the report from a legal perspective. Kaya ang laki ho ng utang ko sa kanya rito. Kaya marami siguro hindi nakakaalam na. Thank you very much, Attorney Karen, for this opportunity.
An honor po, Mayor Magalong. So at that time, I remember, you were very clear, giving us instructions talaga. Be objective, and then wala kang sinabi na to spare anyone, regardless of what we uncover. But at that time, you had President Benigno Aquino III, who was the incumbent president. Hindi po ba kayo natakot na ma-implicate siya? And also, did you know or were you aware if you were in the running? Because kahit ako po naririnig ko that time, you were top candidate to be PNP chief. Did you feel that role you had with the Mamasapano report and not considering kung ma-implicate si Presidente cost you that role of being appointed as PNP chief?
Well, alam mo, Attorney Karen, first day pa lang, nung nandun kami sa Cotabato, kasi nangyari Sunday, Monday, alam ko na Nalaman ko na kagad na merong involvement si Presidente. Kaya nung ako yung napiling to head the investigation, BOI, I immediately knew what's going to happen. I have an idea, a clear idea of what really happened because ni-spell out na sa akin nung aking kaklase yun, ni John Napeñas, what really happened. He was so honest with me. So ni-spell out niya lahat, binigay niya lahat sa akin detalye. So when I was appointed as BOI, sabi ko, tapos na yung career ko rito. Tapos na rin yung aking ambisyon.
Hindi niyo po naisip na tumanggi na lang, na wag na ikaw ang mag-head ng Board of Inquiry?
Well, actually, nire-recommend ako si Justice Panganiban nung tinanong ako Pero nung nag-meeting sila sa loob ng kumbento nila Presidente at ni Secretary Rojas at ni General Spina, paglabas, sabi ko, sir, tatawagan ko na ba si General at si si Justice Panganiban? Sabi yan, hindi na Benji, meron na napili. Sino, sir? Ikaw. Hindi na ako nakasagot. Sige, sir, sabi ko, pwede ba, sir, bigyan niyo ako ng mga 6 months to conduct the investigation? No, you're not. There's no 6 months, you're only given 30 days, sabi sa akin. So sabi ko, bakit 30 days? Sabi ko, so nagduda na ako, why 30 days? So doon na, unti-unti nang nararamdaman ko yung pressure during the investigation, especially during the first 3 weeks noon. Naramdaman ko na yung pressure.
You mean the pressure not to implicate the President?
Yes, to whitewash, some sort of whitewash the investigation. But sabi ko nga sa iyo, it's all about telling the truth. In fact, you were there, and at the same time, I also consulted with Senator Ping. At yung nga sinabi niya sa akin, alam mo, Benji, yung konsensya mo, you'll get bothered pag mali yung ginawa mo dyan. Pero yung reputation, tuloy-tuloy yan, sabi niya sa akin. Kaya talagang memorable din yung pag-uusap namin ni Senator Ping. At sinabi ko sa kanya, alam mo, sir, anong gagawin mo? Sabi niya, dinitalyo ko sa kanya yung initial findings ko. Sabi ko, sir, ito, bonus na sir tong 2-star. Alam mo naman, sir, na nakulong pa ako, sabi ko. And I was already resigning from the service. Kaya ito, bonus na lang to. I have to tell the truth. At talagang sinuportahan ako ni Senator Ping.
In hindsight, I think some people were also telling you that you were in the running for becoming the next PNP chief. Hindi ka po ba nag-regret at all na hindi mo narating yun because of how you went with your decision to release the Mamasapano report even if it implicated the President?
Well, alam mo, Attorney Karen, when during the investigation, may mga pupunta sa akin ng mga general they were insinuating na I can be the next chief PNP, mga ganon. So, alam mo, I never regretted it. Never regretted my decision. Kasi lagi pumapasok sa isipan ko, assuming that I became the chief PNP after whitewashing the investigation, ano na lang yung mukha ko, ang kredibilidad ko, at dignidad ko na harap sa mga tao and talk to them. And I'm talking during a town hall meeting, assuming na may town hall meeting, and I'm talking about integrity, about credibility, about, honesty in front of my people. Anong tingin nila sa akin? Ikaw ano yung sinasabi mong credibility? Ikaw nga, binenta mo yung inyong credibility. So, ayaw kong titingnan ako ng tanong ganyan. Sabi nga nila, regret, which is probably one of the most painful emotions ng isang tao, and don't like to experience regret.
Talagang pinanindigan niyo po yung honor code ninyo. Let's go to the next picture. So from being a career service official, a uniformed man, you entered public service.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds, can you share with us, ano po yung naging reason para pumasok po kayo sa politika? Timer starts now.
Well, araw-araw kasi araw-araw tinetext ako ng mga tao sa Baguio. Kaya finally, I decided na, sige na, tatakbo na nga ako because sabi nila, this is what's going to happen in the city of Baguio kung ito yung mga mananalo. And so, I accepted the challenge, and so I ran under the banner of good governance. But during that time, hindi ko pa naiisip yung good governance. I was just out there to really create a better Baguio. Yun lang talaga objective ko.
Mayor Benji, when you ran for the first time, you were running against an incumbent and you also ran as an independent.
Yes.
Ano po yung mga na-encounter niyong challenges? I'm sure funding, napaka-limited ng funding ninyo. Paano niyo nagawang manalo?
Well, alam mo, malaking bagay din yung tulong sa akin ni Senator Ping. Yung mga natulungan namin sa anti-kidnapping, yun din mga nagbigay ng mga contribution, unti-unti. Tapos, ang pinakamahirap niyan is yung how to introduce yourself. It's a very humbling experience kasi babastusin ka . Actually,
Talaga?
ayoko na.
In what way? Ano po yung memorable sa inyo?
I was a regional director sa Cordillera. So everybody basically knows me. Pero when I started running as mayor, first term, talagang ganun pala yung babastusin ka pala ng tao. Lalo na yung mga memorable na papasok ako sa loob ng jeepney, tapos palalabasin ako ng driver. Bawal yan dito.
Ayaw na magkampanya ka?
Oo, bibigay lang ako ng tapos mag-isa kong, kumisan, ayaw nilang tanggapin yung polyetos ko, tapos titingnan lang nila ako. Tapos isnabin nila ako. Hanggang finally, after 1 month na campaigning na ganun, ayaw ko na. For 2 months, ayaw ko na. In fact, kinausap nga ako ni Secretary La Peña, sabi niya sa akin, Benji, nag-usap kami ni Presidente, ni PRRD. I recommended you to become the head of PIDEA. So, hindi na ako nagkampanya
So,
noon.
for a while, you were almost going to be PIDEA.
Yes, oo.
PIDEA chief.
Yes. So, November, December, hindi na ako nagkampanya because I was looking for a way out. Ayoko na . Kasi yung babastusin ka.
Tapos hindi ka kilala.
Tapos hihingihan ka ng pera. Sabi ko, hindi ko kaya ito. Sabi ko, ayoko na. Pero nung hindi dumating yun, sinabihan ako ni General La Peña na Benji, nagbago isip ni Kwan. They're giving a chance to the incumbent president, to the incumbent director. Sabi ko, wala na akong choice nito, kundi panindigan ko na to, wala na, na-i-announce na . So, January, nag-kwan uli ako. Tinuloy ko uli yung aking kampanya. Napakahirap.
Ano po yung naging support ng pamilya mo with your decision to run at that time? Sila rin po ba nagdo-door to door? Did they help you campaign? And your wife then?
Oh yes, talagang full kwan sila. Especially nung nalaman nila na hindi ako pinili ng INC, ay talagang umiyak yung family ko. Tapos sila na talagang nagkampanya na sila. Introducing me to the people. Ako rin, I was not really very enthusiastic about it. At I was not really expecting na mananalo kami dahil nga hindi nga kami pinili ng INC. Pangalawa is, konti lang yung pondo namin. Pangalawa, mag-isa ko lang. Pagkaras, mabuti na lang, meron ako na kilalang 2 councilor na independent na gusto rin sumama sa akin na candidate pala for councilor. So, 3 lang kami na nagkampanya.
So, nagulat po ba kayo nung nanalo kayo?
Yes, in fact, pinatawag nga ako ni 1.5 months bago yung elections, pinatawag ako ni Senator Lacson. Binigyan niya ako ng envelope. Sabi niya, Benji, ayan, pulse age survey. Ako naman, sabi ko, tinitingnan ko yung mukha niya, sabi niya. Hindi siya wala, malungkot yung mukha niya. Sabi niya, Benji, yung laman yan pala. Sabi niya, number 5 ka. Tapos 36 points yung lamang sa iyo ng leading candidate. And that's 1.5 months before the election. So talagang lungkot-lungkot ko, hindi ko binuksan yun. Talagang tinatanong ko yung mga tao ko, sabi ko, malakas ba tayo? Ay sir, malakas tayo. Sabi ko, hindi tayo malakas. Nagtataka yung mga tao ko, bakit hindi, sinasabi ko lagi hindi tayo malakas. Ayaw kong sabihin sa kanila, meron akong survey. So tinago ko yun, nilagay ko yun doon sa upuan ng piano chair ng sister ko. Meron kaming old piano. Doon. Nilagay ko doon, hindi ko na binuksan yun.
So,
hanggang ngayon, hindi ko binuksan
kayo
yun.
rin pa, naranasan nyo pala na mababa sa survey, tapos nanalo kayo. So, nung nakita nyo yung election results, this 2025 election with Senate, hindi po ba kayo, nakarelate ba kayo na, hindi na kayo nagulat, na ganyan talaga, minsan merong mababa sa survey na mataas?
Yes. Oh, pero ako nararamdaman ko kasi I do the house to house eh. I do pati yung community engagement, araw-araw yan eh. I can feel ko ano yung pulse ng publiko eh. Every
So
time
alin
they see
po
me,
dyan yung mga hindi na kayo nagulat na mataas sa rankings nung nanalo po as senator?
as
Senator. So for example,
nga pala ito, no?
Given the surveys and then yung...
Yes.
Oo.
Ako, hindi ako nagulat kay Bam. Alam ko mananalo si Bam.
Number 2.
In fact, talagang meron kaming Kiko Bam na Alam ko kasi mananalo si Senator Ping. Alam ko na mananalo si Senator Soto. Kaya
Bongo and Bato.
Mananalo sila.
In-expect nyo rin, okay.
Alam ko. Kaya talagang ang sinuportahan ko lang is si Senator Bam at Senator Kiko.
So for Baguio.
Yes.
Ang galing. So,
at of course, si Senator Amy din. Kasi nga, ang laki na naitulong sa amin ni Senator Amy.
so hindi kayo nagulat na nag-number 2 si Senator Bam?
Nagulat ako na nakapasok siya sa number 2. Pero alam ko papasok siya sa top 12.
Interesting.
Ang nagulat ako kay Senator Kiko. Kasi talaga malungkot na kami. Meron kasi kami Viber group na Kiko Bam. And kami mga mayors for good governance, talagang binuhos din namin yung tulong namin doon sa dalawa.
Kayo po, you were also the contact tracing czar during the time of former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Yes.
What was that experience like? Ano po yung isang aral na natutunan nyo doon? Yung pinakamalaking aral na natutunan nyo from that experience?
Well, decision-making should be data-driven. No? At importante talaga pagdating sa mga ganitong mga crisis, dapat yung mga managers talaga should be well-versed on crisis management. At you have to be very decisive. There are situations kasi na it's a matter of life and death, and you have to decide immediately whether it's the right decision or not. You should have to base it on 30% lang ng data already. You have to decide kasi our lives is at stake. Pero if there are chances na hindi naman critical, pero it will have a huge impact on the community and you still have time to decide, importante rin talaga na makipag-ugnayan ka sa mga stakeholders. Tulad yung lalo-lalo na yung i-open ko ba yung economy ko o kaya papakinggan ko itong ating mga health enthusiasts o itong mga health workers. Kasi talaga nag-aaway na yung business sector at yung mga yung health sector nag-aaway na talaga At that time, kasi I know every time may lockdown, lalo na pag hard, yung ECQ, yung business sector naman yung pumapalag because it does really affect business so much. So yung mga ganung balancing. Totoo yan, Attorney Karen. Kaya nga ang ginawa ko noon I called for a meeting. Kita ko kaagad yung nila Yung talaga yung animosity. Dalawang grupo. Pero when I started informing them about this is the current situation, and then they started looking at it from a different perspective. And then suddenly, everybody was smiling at each other. Meron na nga manifesto yung health workers na magwa-walk out sila Tapos makita mo talaga.
Hindi natuloy.
Tinitingnan ko nga yung dynamics nila when they entered the conference hall. Talagang itong business sector, dito sila lahat. Tapos they were looking at each other, walang nag-smile
What was it like working with former President Duterte, who was the president at that time?
Very decisive.
Decisive.
Very decisive. At he will allow you to decide on your own. Basta as long as, pag may confidence siya sa'yo, papabayaan ka niya. At marami rin ako mga decision na akala ko magagalit siya sa akin. Like, for example, opening as mayor, I opened too early. I was even cautioned by members of the NTF that I am opening too early. Pero nung kinasinabihan si Presidente, sabi ni Presidente, tulungan nyo na lang siya. Sabi ko nga sa mga ibang mga nakadapa na kami. Nakadapa na kami. Please allow us kasi maganda naman yung aming sistema dito.
So do you think importante talaga ang decisive leadership?
Yes, kailangan. At kailangan din talaga tiwala. Kailangan magtiwala kayo sa isa't isa. Trust.
Well, since nakatrabaho niyo po si former President Duterte, there was a recent Pulse Asia survey that just came out yesterday. The data was taken in the latter part of May, leading up to the elections, and it showed that former President Duterte still enjoys the highest trust rating compared to even Vice President Sara Duterte, and then much greater compared to our current President Bongbong Marcos. What do you think accounts for that? Yung nananatiling malaking tiwala ng mga Pilipino kay former President Duterte, considering na matagal na po siyang wala rin sa pwesto?
Yeah, good question, Atty. Karen. Alam mo, during my first term, nung panahon na ni President Duterte, when I ran, ang lagi kong iniisip noon is, bakit kaya mataas ang rating ni President Duterte? Ang iniisip ko, yung mga nasa survey ng mga tao, takot lang. Takot lang. And then when I started campaigning and doing the house-to-house, tinatanong ko yung mga tao, sinong gusto nilang presidente? Ang taas ng rating ni Presidente, ni PRRD. Ang first na reason is yung feeling of safety. Pati yung mga madre. Nakita mo naman kung papaano kumisan na dinidisrespect na ni PRRD si Pope. Pati nga yung Panginoon natin. Dinidisrespect na niya. Pero may nakakusap ako mga madre. Sabi ng mga Duterte, Duterte kami. And tinatanong ko sa bakit? Yung feeling of safety na kahit anong oras uuwi ka, safe na safe ka. Unlike in the past na dadaan sila sa eskinita, takot na takot sila dahil marami nakahubad, may mga drug addicts. And during that time, involved na rin yung mga ibang PNP personnel. Meron na rin tayo mga narcopolitics at mga maralaking mga well-known businessmen na involved na rin sa drugs. Kaya nakakatakot ang situation nun Kaya more of the safety issue sa tingin ko. Yes.
Well, as a mayor, nakikita niyo po ba yung difference? Because right now, marami nagsasabi na nag-deteriorate na yung peace and order sa Pilipinas. Marami pong mga incidents of kidnapping in the past months that was reported, but also incidents of robbery na hindi parang ngayon lang ulit dumadami. So, I personally don't know if this is backed up by data na apart from yung anecdotal. But in your opinion, what do you think should be done? Because kayo dati marami rin kayo nasusolve na kidnapping.
Yeah.
And you were the head of the CIDG as well. Paano yung nagagawa yung solving crimes very quickly, solving cases quickly, and then yung having this peace and order? And you've seen nung time nga ni former President Duterte na yung feeling of peace and order, that the trust was there na mas safe tayo. Bakit wala na ngayon at ano yung difference po ba?
Ito yung feedback sa akin ng some members of the community. Dati-rati raw pag tumawag sila sa police, let us say meron silang na-detect na ongoing na mga parang drug transactions, o feeling na merong mga presence ng mga drug addicts sa lugar nila. Pag tumawag sila noon, ang bilis ng reaction. Ngayon daw, it takes time for the police to react. Yun ang complaint nila. Tapos nakikita na nila, ako naman, as Regional Peace and Order Council members, I asked yung ating mga law enforcers, tumaas ba ngayon ang incidents ng drug cases natin? O kaya pati yung mga civilians members namin ng mga civil society, anong feeling ninyo? Sabi nila, tumaas. Tumaas talaga. So, ibig sabihin is back by data. At the same time, observation. At kung titingnan mo rin yung recent na survey ng Pulse Asia, talagang isa sa mga disapproval kay Presidente, number one is yung inflation. Pangalawa is corruption, di ba? Pangalawa is corruption. And number three is yung fighting criminality. Yun yung mga concerns nila ngayon.
We have a new incoming PNP chief, although hindi pa dinidisclose publicly yung identity. Yeah. Given the current peace and order situation in the Philippines that, there's a perception of the Philippines being less safe. And we are in the travel advisory of other countries as well, like the US, Canada. what would be, do you think, important characteristics for the incoming PNP chief to have? And what would be your advice for the new PNP chief?
Well, maganda kung meron tayong chief PNP na mananagot lang siya sa isang tao, kay presidente lang. At wag na siya makikinig sa ibang mga politiko. Yung mahirap kasi kung ikaw chief PNP ka, tas ang dami mong amo. Dapat ang amo mo lang yung presidente. And of course, dalawa lang. Lagi namin pinag-uusapan yan. At ito yung isa rin sa mga traits na lagi namin binabanggit ni Senator Lacson yan. One is competence, and of course, character.
Competence and character, very important po talaga.
Yes.
How were you able to impose to the people of Baguio discipline and order? What reforms made this possible? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. Mayor Benji, how were you able to impose discipline and order for the people in Baguio? And what reforms made this possible?
Alam mo kasi, unang-una, you have to lead by example. Kaya there's no substitute to leadership by example. Dapat sa akin, kung good governance ang pinaumpis ang prinsipyo ko, dapat good governance should always start with me. Kaya yung ngayon, meron kaming t-shirt. Good governance starts with me. Second is, sometimes you would rather be feared rather than respected, especially in the enforcement of the law. Kaya there was even a time na talagang ang basura, talagang pipick upin ko yan, tatapon ko uli yan sa loob ng establishment.
Pagka makalat po
pag
sa labas.
Sa Session Road, dati-rati, dami-daming basura dyan. Wala sa oras, lalagay lang nila, pipick upin ko yan, tatapon ko sa loob yan. Yung night market, isipin mo, mag-o-open ng 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, ang dumi-dumi na kagad. Talagang sarado kayo, sasabihin ko, sarado kayo. Tapos pag naulit-ulit, makikiusap, i-open uli namin. Pag hindi ko na naman nagustuhan, sarado kayo. Ganun lang ang decisions nun. Until, alam mo, unti-unti, pinatanggal ko na yung mga police, tinanggal ko na yung POSD. Sila na, they're already managing their own people.
So kaya talaga ng mga Pinoy maging
kaya.
Disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have visited Baguio recently. Maganda, malinis siya. So yun pala, hindi yan nakasalalay sa mga naglilinis. Talagang yung mga tao, the locals themselves.
Yes, kailangan.
Meron disiplina.
Kailangan talaga, the community should be involved. Kaya lang, ang hirap turuan kuminsan ng komunidad. May mga raming challenges, tatakutin ka pa. At the end of the day, it's all about political will din. At tulad dyan, yung widening ng road. Kailangan, iwa-widen. Hindi ka na namin iboboto, Mayor. Magalong, sabihin sa iyo. Pero sabi mo, you have to explain it to them. Bakit? And then hindi ka namin iboboto. But you have to do what is right. So, tinuloy namin. Pero ngayon, pag ganun-ganun pa sila. Sabi ko, dati-dati, nung nakikita niyo ako, pag ganun-ganun.
So you're not afraid of being unpopular and unlike pagka meron kang kailangan gawin for the city?
Well, as long as it is based on data, something sustainable, and at the same time, most of the time, it's right, but it's mostly unpopular.
Well, one of the unpopular initiatives was the public market. Nung gagawin siyang, I think, privatize, magiging commercial daw. Naalala ko in one of my visits, meron pang noise barrage to complain or to protest against that. Ano na pong nangyari doon?
Alam mo, unang-una, kasinungalingan yung privatization because it has to go through a PPP process. At yun doon sa terms of negotiation, talaga yung market will be exclusively operated and managed by the city. All revenues will go to the city. Kaya kasinungalingan yun yung sinabi nilang privatization. And we're open. Sabi ko nga, we're
so
very
hindi
transparent.
naman pala I think that time may mga chismis pa na sa SM mapupunta at sila yung magiging owner na ng market. Hindi pala totoo yun.
It's a PPP. So ang SM ang nakakuha ng original proponent status. Pero panalo na ba siya? Hindi pa because it has to go through a PPP. Magkakaroon pa ng Swiss challenge.
Yes, oo.
So
it's
hindi.
a long
Pero
process.
definitely yung privatization talagang kasinungalingan niya. Alam mo kung sino nagkakalat nun? Marami kasi dyan, mga businessmen dyan at mga politiko, kumuha ng maraming stalls. Yung mga stalls na yan, binabayaran nila ng 400, 600 or 800 pesos every month sa city. Pero pinaparenta nila yun ng 10,000, 12,000, 8,000.
Okay.
Ilan yung stalls na yan. Tapos meron pa dyan, ilang stalls ang kinuha nila. May 10, may 20. Alam mo ba, may isang businessman pa dyan na kinuha niya mga 60 plus stalls. And for almost 20 years, yan ang ginagawa lang niya. At sinusuportahan lang niya yung mga politiko dyan. Meron pa dyan na may nagre-renta sa amin ng 8,000, pinaparenta ng 130,000.
Grabe, ang laki ng kita nila.
At this were tolerated.
Yeah.
Kaya talagang yan ang mga dinidisiplina ko dyan.
And kawawa rin kasi yung mga small businesses. Ang laki-laki pala ng rent na binabayaran nila. Pero hindi naman napupunta sa local government. So hindi rin yung community ang nakikinabang. What can Filipinos, especially tourists, we love the public market. What can we expect pag matuloy po itong PPP?
Well, pag matutuloy ang market modernization is now with the City Development Council. So after the City Development Council, pupunta pa yun uli sa City Council. And there will again be series of public consultations. Alam mo ba ang requirement lang sa PPP? 2 to 3 consultations lang eh. Pero alam mo sa amin ngayon, umabot na kami na siguro mga 16 public consultation. Hindi pa matatapos yan. Pagdating sa City Council, magkakaroon pa uli yan ng ilang public consultation. And then pag na-approve yan, magkakaroon pa ng Swiss challenge yan.
Ang haba ng proseso.
Pero pag
But you think it's necessary na?
Yes. Pero pag
ganun kahaba?
natapos yan, alam mo, Atty. Karen, one thing that we can be proud of, it will be one of the most beautiful markets, not only in the Philippines, but in Asia.
Ibig sabihin, mas malinis na siya, pero yung ganun pa rin yung variety ng tinda, pero new and improved na.
Yes.
Well, we're excited to see
Talagang
that.
napakaganda talaga, and it is culturally inspired na design.
Very nice. At saka magkakaroon na ng mga toilets na malinis.
Ay talagang standard, nakita mo naman yung standard ng yung mga magagandang sa mga first world countries, similar. Kasi pinattern nila sa market sa Netherlands, sa Barcelona, Spain, at sa Singapore. Yun ang tatlong nila, tinignan nila mga design.
Very excited. Kaya po bang matapos yan during your term as mayor?
Hopefully, kung na-approvean ng City Council this year, then the construction will start next year. It will be 2 years ang construction.
Okay. At least yung groundbreaking po aabot sa inyo.
Yes.
What about the monorail? Matutuloy pa po ba yun? I know there
Well,
were discussions of
yes.
having a monorail around Baguio City.
Ang nangyari kasi, ang proponent nun is yung sila Mr. Bob Subpeña. Kaya lang natanggal na sila sa BCDA, sa Kamjanhay. So, malamang siguro baka hindi na matuloy yun. And besides, yung main proponent nila kasi is Chinese. Chinese company, BYD. So, nakita kasi na may mga problema kasi in terms of alignment do sa model nila na design nung kanilang monorail system. Kaya mahihirapan. Most probably, ang matutuloy kung sakasakali man ang talagang viable na technology is yung sa Switzerland. Kaya lang, sabi ko nga sa iyo, Mr. Bob Sobrepeña, nawala na sila sa Kamjanhay.
Oo. But I hope matuloy din pa rin yung magkaroon ng monorail or some type of mass transport to reduce the traffic.
Yes, we're still looking at proponents. Meron pa naman na pati Japanese for the cable car system.
Okay, very exciting, Mayor Benji. We can't wait to see this happen in Baguio.
Yeah.
You have been a staunch critic of corruption. We'll show you a couple of viral TikTok videos that are controversial disclosures. But we'll give you 30 seconds to also expound on these. So let's start with this video first.
Kung ako bulok, lalabanan ko ba yung anlalakas na yan, sila speaker? Lalabanan ko ba yung mga mayayaman na yan? Kung ako'y bulok? Diba? Nakita nyo naman yung track record ko. Diba? When I was in 2006, I fought a very corrupt administration, nakulong ako. I was a very popular colonel because we just finished yung annihilating the Abu Sayyaf. I was about to be promoted to general, the first general in my class. Pero anong ginawa ko? I sacrificed my career to fight for what is right.
Okay, in 30 seconds, can you tell us what made you open up in public about these things? Kaya ngayon alam ko na bakit po kayo nakulong dati. So that was the time of former
2006.
President Gloria Macapagal
Yes,
Arroyo. And you sacrificed your career na naman that
Yes,
time. Okay.
This was during a CDC meeting. Nag-comment kasi na isang member ng CSO about corruption at itong mga pinapa-explain sa akin itong issue dito sa yung 4 billion na 4 billion na nalagay sa time deposit. Sabi ko, ito, nangyayari ito noon pa. So, in-emphasize ko ngayon kung ako corrupt ba, lalabanan ko ba yung mga ganun. Ibig sabihin, kanyan I became emotional Kaya galit na galit ako dun sa accusation na yon.
Yes.
And then I was able to prove na talaga itong pera na to talagang very transparent. At napuntahan ang interest rate, ang interest na na-derive dito, went back to the city. Tapos very transparent naman ang mga bangko. Kaya galit na galit ako dyan sa nangyari na yan.
Let's look at this next video. And this is what we call the 777 for congressmen that joined Speaker Martin's sorties. Let's look at this video.
Every time na sumama ka sa sortie ni Speaker, every congressman gets 777, 7 million na AIX or AKAP, 7 million na MAIP, and 7 million na tupad. So that's about 21 million. Kung nakaapat ka ba naman na sortie, 21 times 4, that's 84 million. So ilan yan? Ilan yan sumasama? Nung nalaman ng mga ibang congressman na meron pala yan, nagsamahan na lahat.
In 30 seconds, why did you publicly disclose this scheme? Timer starts now.
People should know what is really happening to the money of government money. Ito taxpayers' money ito At alam mo itong information na ito came from reliable sources from the house. Kaya talagang dapat malaman ng tao na to na someone can easily disburse the fund at parang ipinapamigay lang yan. Ganun ba yun? Pera ba nila yan? Pera ng taong bayan yan.
Personally, in Baguio, nakita niyo po ba na may mga ayuda na napapamigay?
Ay, sobra. Lalo-lalo na itong election. Last year pa yan. Alam mo, last year pa talagang bumabaha ang pera coming from AKAP funds na walang transparency. We were really surprised why us in local government were willing to share with you yung mga binigyan namin ng financial assistance para hindi magkaroon ng redundancy. Pero why is it that DSWD, because of the instruction of corrupt politicians, corrupt congressmen, they're not willing to share their data with us? Ibig sabihin, may problema, di ba? Nasaan ang transparency? Pera ng taong bayan yan. And why is it being used as an election fund?
But did you think did it affect the results of the elections?
Well, it did not for the city of Baguio, but I'm pretty sure that it also impacted the result of the election in other places. Kasi nga, alam mo, iba kasi naman ang botante namin sa Baguio. Mabuti na lang, matatalino yung aming mga botante doon at talagang marunong mag-rationalize.
Hindi nadadala sa mga ayuda.
Yes.
Let's look at this next video. And this is the corruption that you alleged in the General Appropriations Act. Let's watch this video.
Classic example na lang yung ginawa nila sa ating yung appropriations, di ba? GAA, tinan mo yung ginawa nila. No less than the president, sabi niya, is a different animal. Saan ka nakakita ng ganun na kukunting tao lang? Mga lawmakers lang, sila-sila lang nag-usas para binago yung buong bicameral, yung NEP. At kita mo yung mga nilagay na mga pondo doon obviously, election pa nang ginawa doon sa GAA 2025.
In 30 seconds, Mayor Benji, did you call the attention of the President or people close to him about this issue?
Yes, I was able to talk to one of the secretaries close to the President and revealed to him all our yung mga nalaman namin, all our findings, and at the same time, critical information about what happened. At very, very appreciative siya. And he mentioned na dadali niya kay Presidente. Ito, nakakagulat na rito na bago yung bycam, katapos meron palang small bycam, nakukunti lang pala ang nag-decision doon. In fact, ang sabi ng sources ko, tatato lang palang nag-decision doon sa bycam report na yon.
Do you think things will be different this time? I know that the President said, or it has been said that the President will sit in the bycam. And pinag-uusapan pa kung, I think Senator Amy said that that's not constitutional or that's not allowed, pero you think this time it's going to be different?
Well, kung transparent sila, they can, on the invitation of Congress and yung members of the BICAM, they can invite the President.
Yeah.
Pero on his own, siyempre, hindi siya pwede naman pumasok doon dahil nga may separation.
Yeah,
diba?
Separation of powers.
Pero kung in-invite siya, maganda yon kasi may transparency. Ang masama kasi is, merong BICAM, tapos nag-usap-usap sa BICAM, Tapos bigla yung, meron pala silang small bycam na mangyayari. Natatatlo na lang yung nag-usap at binago na nila lahat. Yun ang mahirap.
Or nag-fill in ng blanks dun
Yes,
sa
oo.
supposedly bycam report that had blanks.
Mukhang meron kaya tang information na nangyari na yan.
I like watching the news.
Meron
Okay.
natin.
Let's look
Meron
at the
kasing-
next video, Mayor Benji, on attempts to destroy your reputation. Let's watch this.
Kung meron akong ginawang mali, dapat na ako. Sa ngayon convicted na dapat ako. Di ba? Maraming may mga kasong pinapile sa akin, no, to destroy my reputation, to portray me as a very corrupt officer, very corrupt public official, very corrupt mayor. Pero I'm not at all bothered by that. Because I know, deep in my heart, deep in my mind, ang gusto kong ipakita sa Baguio is yung integrity ng tao, yung character ng tao. I developed character way back when I was during my developmental stage.
Mayor Benji, in 30 seconds, how do you insulate your family from all of these criticisms and demolition jobs? Timer starts now.
Napakahirap. Napakahirap because, they're very, very much affected. At the end of the day, it's all about who I am. My service reputation, my track record. But never in the history of Baguio was there's so much demolition, character demolition done to destroy a candidate. So much money was, spent to destroy my character. Never. It never happened before in the history of politics in the city of Baguio. So much, it was orchestrated, systematic, deliberate, structural. Isipin mo ba naman na nag-hire pa pala sila ng mga taxi drivers para talagang magkalat ng ganitong mga kasinungalingan na
So ano
pag-aari
yung para
ko to.
pagka may sasakay sa kanila na mga tao, may magkikwento yung mga taxi drivers?
Yes,
At
oo.
gano'n na, talagang
At binayaran nila.
grassroots operation.
Binayaran nila araw-araw. And it started early last year pa pala.
And how did you find out? May nag-report ba
May
sa
nakuha
inyo?
kaming 2 taxi na driver na sinumbong sa amin. Kaya in-interview namin, yung pala ang ginawa. Hindi lang yun. Meron din mga hinar din na mga senior citizen na mahilig magmarites.
Ah, wow.
Pati
Iba-iba
sila
na pala
binayaran.
ang style ngayon.
Oo.
Pero in your experience po, pagka nalalaman mo yan, ano yung style ninyo? How do you manage this? Are you vindictive doon sa mga iba? But it seems like ang dami yung pong supporters Because even the TikTok videos, when I see them, hindi siya galing sa inyo. It's people that post them.
Oh, yeah.
Tapos when you give a speech, people create videos, TikTok videos of your speech or excerpts of your speech.
Yes. Well, mabuti na lang maraming naniniwala sa katotohanan. Sabi ko nga alam niyo, after this election, malalaman niyo na lahat pala ng mga binintang sa akin, hindi pala totoo, tinabudol-budol kayo. Sabi ko, alam mo, sabi ko nga some people just simply want to destroy the foundation that we built for the city of Baguio, and this is about good governance. They don't really care if they will destroy it as long as they win in the elections. So much money we were flooded with so much money. Unfortunately, yung perang binuhos nila, pera pa rin ng taong bayan, naninakaw nila. Hindi pa yun, ginamit pa nila yung AKAP fund as election fund. Walang kaduda-duda doon na kwan. Ang nakakaalungkot nga yung reputation ng DSWD nasira. Sabi nga ng mga DSWD employees, sir, nalulungkot nga kami, gusto na nga namin mag-resign kasi pati kami ginamit kami.
Well, you openly supported President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. during the 2022 elections.
Yeah.
What was the reason for this decision? And recently in your TikTok videos, marami ring criticisms against this administration. So what made you express your delusionment, if that's what we can call it?
Well, alam mo, natuwa ako nung nag-announce nga si Presidente na some sort of a reset or revamp. Sabi ko, at least nabuksan na yung mata niya. Alam mo, tahimik siya. Napakabait kasi nitong ating Presidente at kumisa inaabuso na siya. Kaya ako mismo, I came up with this post. Pero I added something do sa post ko. Sana pagtuunan din niya ng pansin yung nangyayari dyan sa Kongreso.
So nag-post po kayo about the revamp?
Yes. It was a long post. Basically, it talks about what is happening sa Kongreso, paano nakikialam ang mga Kongreso doon sa mga departments, paano nila minamanipulate yung mga pork barrel, paano sila nakikialam sa pagpili ng mga regional directors at mga district engineers. Nilabas ko lahat yun. No? Pati na rin yung mga rigged na biddings na ginagawa to favor contractors who are actually members of Congress o kaya yung mga relatives nila. Ang dami ko nilagay doon at it became viral as well. So marami nag-share.
Would you know kung nakarating po to kay President Bongbong Marcos?
I have no idea kung nakarating
You have no
sa kanya.
direct line po kay PBBM?
Meron naman kaming, meron naman ako, nakakalapit naman ako sa mga close na mga confident na.
Baka dapat po ipaabot nyo yung sinulat nyo para makarating yung advice.
I am sure na nakakarating sa kanila.
Okay.
Hindi ko lang alam kung pinaparating nila kay Presidente. Pero doon sa post ko talagang I'm supporting yung
revamping.
Yeah, so.
Are you happy so far with the results?
I'm
Kasi
still
sabi ng
waiting.
iba parang naging reshuffling lang siya, walang revamping.
Sa ngayon, doon sa latest na nangyayari ngayon, parang reshuffle pala yun. Pero hinihintay ko pa yung mga resulta dito sa marami pa kasing mga critical na mga positions na wala pang decision ng ating Presidente. Kaya naghihintay pa ako.
Okay. Well, right now, we'll have questions for you and answer as many as you can very quickly.
Yeah, okay.
Para marami tayong makover. Okay. So, first question. First thing that you do in the morning.
Well, I exercise.
Best coffee place in Baguio.
Foam coffee.
Greatest fear.
Failure.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Whether it's watching TV or...
Guilty pleasure?
Opo.
Yeah, I watch Netflix.
Netflix. Leader that you admire?
Senator Ping.
Senator Ping Lacson. Strength as a mayor.
Character, integrity.
Weakness that you admit.
Well, temperamental.
You're temperamental?
Yeah.
Pero hindi naman tempered, like that you...
I try to control it as much as possible.
Okay. Hindi ko makita, Mayor Benji. Most stressful moment in office?
Itong mga when my three things are happening at the same time, three events are happening at the same time, and they want me to be there.
Comfort food?
Comfort food, noodles.
Political red flag?
When you say political red flag, related to...
Siguro corruption? Or,
yeah, definitely corruption. Yeah.
What makes you angry?
Again, corruption.
Bagay na hindi mo kayang tiisin?
Itong pagsisinungaling.
One thing Baguio still needs?
Itong environmental protection.
Environmental protection. Funniest rumor that you heard about yourself? So, rumor.
Ito siguro yung rumor. Wait.
Pagka pala Jesus ang tinatanong.
Pass.
First time kita nakikitang speechless, Mayor Benji.
Oo nga.
Oo.
A rumor about me.
Pero wala bang, ano yung pinaka-ridiculous rumor na narinig mo?
Yung, okay. Ako may-ari ng mga good taste, ako may-ari ng mga taxis, ako may-ari ng mga hotels, ako may-ari ng... Naku, Diyos ko. At yan ang mga paninirang maraming naniwala.
Maraming naniwala.
Yeah, pero ngayon, nalaman nila hindi pala totoo. Kaya sabi ko nga, nabudol-budol kayo.
Well, at least you won po. So, this is your third term as mayor. So, for 2028, hindi po kayo pwedeng bumalik na as mayor of Baguio City. But recently, I read an article in the Tribune. This came out around February 2025, and the title was The Curious Case of Benjamin Magalong. And it said that, at some point in the article, it said, will we have another mayor turned president in the making of Mayor Magalong? Would you consider running for higher office in 2028?
Good question, Attorney Karen. Every time I'm asked that question or similar questions, I just say, have a blessed Sunday. I just would like to spend my time with my grandkids.
Para a nicer way of saying no comment. Pero would you think about running for higher office? Sige, let's say not president. Someone wrote this article about you, but for any higher office, 2028. Would you consider that?
Alam mo, I was already cautioned by Senator Ping about it because every time I'm asked the same question or similar question, I just say, I have no plans to run for president, for senator, and especially for Congress, for House. Sabi ni Senator Lacson, Benji, iwasan mo na yan, sabi niya sa akin, kasi nangyari yan sa akin, and then finally I also decided to run. Pero sabi ko, yes sir, sabi ko. Alam mo na, pagkausap mo si Senator Ping, yes or yes lang.
O kasi higher upperclassmen, ganun ba ang tradition po sa PMA? You really have this deference or respect pag upperclassmen?
Especially if respectable yung upper class.
Oh, that's a good answer po. Thank you so much, Mayor Benji. Bitin pa ang
Yes.
interview. So the next time you're in Manila, we hope that we can invite you again
Yes, please.
to sit with
Thank
us.
you. Yes, definitely. Definitely, I'll be here.
Thank you so much. Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong has never shied away from battles, whether in field or in the corridors of power. His relentless fight against corruption and overdevelopment reflects a deep love for the city that raised him. As Baguio City stands taller and cleaner under his watch, his legacy is already etched in the highlands he calls home. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for insights on issues that matter. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.